Hello everybody, my name is Craig Dickerson and I'm the president of Fishing for a Change. We do retreats for PTSD relief for service members and first responders. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I first became aware of PTSD and where we've come to from that point, and basically hopefully where we can go from there. Anyways, so when I was a kid, about 6 years old or so, I used to go up a hill to my great aunt and uncle's house. It was up on top of a hill that overlooked the whole valley. And it was a long walk up this long, dark road. It was about a mile or so in Oregon, which is, very dense forest. So it's very dark and dank and going up this long, steep road. I'd walk up there every day, or not every day, but quite a bit by myself. And as you get by this, you come up to the gate, there was a big pasture. It opened up to a big pasture. And you keep walking up the road, and up on the left was the main house. And just before that, it forked and went down below. And there was another house right over here where it was an older house. And my great uncle Bill lived in that house. And my Aunt Jen and Uncle Bob and Uncle George, they lived in the house above over there. And then the road went down below, and there was a barn down below in the back. And when you would walk by the house, this secondary house where Uncle Bill would live, he would be screaming at the top of his lungs. He would just, "Get down over there, you're gonna get your heads blown off. All right, everybody, let's go, charge!" Just all day long, stomping around in his house, reliving the same battles over and over and over and over. And when I first happened, it scared me. He scared me. He's very loud. He wasn't, I never went by him when he was yelling. So, but they did have us stay with Uncle Bill a few times overnight. And when he wasn't yelling, he's very quiet and calm and a very thought-provoking man. But boy, when he was gone, he just was not there. And, the thing they used to say about my uncle, great uncle, was that he was a coward and he was a chicken and he was weak and he couldn't handle it. He went to war and he couldn't handle it. And what a sick and sad thing to say, especially from people that never went. These guys that usually said this, they didn't go to war. They have exactly zero understanding of what that man went through. And yet you want to go ahead and drop labels on this man? It just blew my mind. Even back then, as a 6-year-old, it just didn't make sense to me. The things he was saying wasn't cowardly. He was trying to protect his men. Get down over there. He was trying to lead his men. All right, charge. Those are not cowardly things. And yet, instead of listening to what he was saying and trying to understand what was happening to him, they just dropped a label on him and threw him in a house and left him alone. Now, he was fortunate. He had my Aunt Jen and Uncle Bob and Uncle George who had a place for him to stay. And he did. And, every once in a while you come up with a grocery list and say, can I get this and can I get that? So he was fortunate that he had that, but he lived his life every day in those battles over and over and over. Now, if that isn't hell, I don't know what is. You can't describe a hell to me that's worse than that. I swear. Go ahead and try it. So we've come a long way. That they called that shell shock. It used to be what they did with these people was they put them in a straitjacket, in a rubber room, let them bounce off the walls for a while. But they were monitored. They were here. They were right here. Professionals were there, and so they were safe, right? And so we've come a long way in our understanding of what was happening to them. We now call it PTSD, but what has happened is, as George Carlin said, we've softened the language down. We've softened it down from shell shock and battle mania to PTSD. And then what happens is then we start lumping all kind of things into PTSD. And that's correct. If you've gone through a life-threatening situation, you're going to have PTSD. The people in Los Angeles that are burning right now, all of those people are going to have PTSD. Okay? What I'm focusing on, though, is the PTSD where when you're triggered, you are a person who is trying to survive. You are a person who is, in the moment, but not here, right? You're in another moment, but not in this one. And you can't come back out of that by yourself. So that's why when I came up with the idea for Fishing for a Change is to give these guys a nice place to be where it's relatively trigger free. The retreats that we're looking to put in are up in the woods, out away from modern day civilization where there's constant triggering and constant noise and constant noise and constant noise, right? And put them up here where it's quiet. The birds are chirping. The deers are running around, right? And the water is babbling by. Be quiet, be calm, breathe. Now do this, 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 and this. See, that's what we're looking to do. So, I don't know why they did what they did. It was a different time back then. But what I'd like to see is for us to take the path where they're safe again. Trying to have them deal with this themselves is unsafe. Asking them to go to the VA and say, have the VA deal with you, is also a problem. The VA is probably the one that got them hurt, so they don't trust them, right? So I think they should go to the VA, but it's hard to get them to do so, right? Because they don't trust them. And so what can we do? We can set up a separate thing just for these people, the PTSD people that are struggling with their battle fatigue, basically. And let's be professional get professionals around them all the time and keep them safe. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. We're trying to mitigate that. And so we need some help. Please comment, like, subscribe, comment, tell me what I can do next. I got books coming out. I got book signings coming up, so we can use all the help we can get. Until next time, the world is a better place with you in it. Make a difference.